I think that CNN's Chris Cuomo really enjoys bringing on members of the Trump administration and showing the world how stupid these people truly are. He decided that he was going to bring on Sarah Huckabee Sanders to discuss Donald Trump's immigration plan, and it pretty much went exactly as you would expect. Take a look.
It's not exclusion, though. It's the safety and security of the American people.
I know, but where's that seen in the facts, though, Sarah? You know, when it comes to the lottery, the selling point is these people over, they come on. You know that's not true. They get vetted several times. What you call chain migration, which the Democrats call family unification.
Which Democrats have voted to end in the past.
But no. What they've done is to vote for limitations. And nobody's saying that you don't want to improve these processes so you know who's coming in. But the idea of what the president said last night, somebody can literally bring in as many people as they want. It's just not true. It's not true in the facts. It's not true in the reality.
Multiple instances where they are bringing in dozens of people. Look, we're not saying they can't bring in anybody. We're just limiting the number to be the nuclear and the immediate family.
But you're making the exception the rule when you do that. You're making the exception the rule about who gets in here, who commits crimes, who are malefactors. You're making the exceptions the rule. You're painting all of these people with the same brush.
That's not true at all. That's actually what Democrats are doing, is trying to paint the president saying this. Look, the president wants to have people, I've heard him say it hundreds of times, he wants people from all over the world, from all different places to come, but he wants to make sure that they want to come here for the right reasons, that they want to come here to be part of our society, to contribute, to work, to help raise a family, and to make sure that they're not coming here to do harm to American citizens. I think that's a positive. I think everybody in America thinks that's a positive. And I think that's the reason that 75% of the country last night said they liked Donald Trump's speech. There was a poll last night.
There was plenty of stuff in there to like it. We had 48% were highly favorable. Look, it's one thing to say it. It's then what do you do and what do you tweet thereafter? You know, we don't have to go back into the language he used, but he wants people to come into the country, but not from those certain S-hole countries. He wants them rich and white because he wants them from Norway.
Untrue.
And that's not America.
Chris, that's
I wouldn't be here if that's America.
That is the opposite of what this president has laid out.
It is Sarah Huckabee Sanders' job to lie on behalf of the Trump administration. During the State of the Union address, Donald Trump told us that immigrants were coming over here and committing crimes at a staggering rate. The reality is that first-generation immigrants to the United States actually commit fewer crimes than native-born U.S. citizens. The crime rate among immigrants is lower than that among native-born white people here in the United States. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders wants to repeat the lie that Donald Trump told during the State of the Union, that these people were coming over here and committing crimes. And Chris Cuomo called her on it. And more importantly, that point he made at the end of that clip, Donald Trump just wants rich white people coming over to the country, like from places like Norway, like he specifically said a few weeks ago. Cuomo pointed out the shithole comment that Donald Trump made, saying we don't want people from those countries. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like a good little servant of Donald Trump, tried to defend it and play it off and deflect and say, no, it's actually the Democrats are saying these horrible things that actually came out of the mouth of my boss. The Democrats are the ones who don't want to include everybody. They're the party of exclusion. That's how stupid this administration has gotten. And more importantly, it's how stupid they think you are. They think the American public is so dumb that they can blame things that they said on Democrats and think that the public is going to believe them. The worst part is that their Republican base actually does believe them, and that presents a huge problem for American politics. Because until we get the stupidity out of the Republican base, people like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kellyanne Conway, and even Donald Trump are going to have long and happy careers in the United States government. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see here on Ring of Fire, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. You can see the little subscribe button down there, but if you're watching it on another device where you can't see it, go to youtube.com/TheRingOfFire, hit subscribe, be notified every time we get a new video.